The discourse around Zionism in Israel has been boiled down to very activist-oriented political and polemical terms.
The Israeli-Arab conflict is a huge issue facing Israel, but it's not the only issue that ought to define Israel.
If students had a better understanding of the complexity of Zionisms, then I think they would approach the subject matter in a much more sensitive and nuanced way.
I'm Daniel Gordis.
My name is Rachel Fish.
And I've been teaching a class on the basic ideas of Zionism. The Jews had been dreaming of returning to Zion for thousands of years. So why did they all of a sudden in the 1890s transform what was a religious idea into a political movement? The Zionists were despairing of the weak, passive, victimized Jew of Europe, and they said Zionism is not just about finding a place to go, it's about creating a new kind of a Jew. They kind of reimagined this agricultural, military, self-sufficient Jew, a Jew who will work the fields and not sit in a yeshiva studying ancient texts.
We're reading a variety of Zionist theoreticians, from Theodor Herzl to Leon Pinsker.
One of my favorite texts has been by Gil Troy about the different types of people that came together to establish the state of Israel.
And it was really interesting to see all the different ways people thought about how to put together a Jewish state and how you can see aspects of all of them in Israeli society today.
Now we fast forward to 2019, 2020, and we say, in what way was it successful? In what way has it failed? And what are the major questions facing Israelis today as they imagine themselves as being the heirs of that rich tradition?
But very often the students have questions about what they're seeing today, and what I'm trying to do is help them understand the roots of the discussion from where the ideas are emerging.
Not only the challenge, obviously, of the Israeli-Arab conflict and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which is painful and a huge moral challenge and something that Israel has to think through very carefully, but everything having to do with economics. Israel was formed as a socialist country, but it's not a socialist country. Where in the socialist capitalist continuum should it situate itself? It sees itself as a Jewish country, but in what way should it be Jewish?
One of the biggest highlights for me has been the Daniel Gordis lecture. He keeps you engaged the entire time that he's lecturing.
I think the faculty come from a position of wanting to help their students grapple with the text, the languages the texts were written in, understand the scaffolding and the historical context of the text.
The idea of the reading is that when we break up out of the lecture and have smaller conversations in smaller groups in seminar, that they're not just sitting passively and listening, but they're actually participants. And it's fascinating sometimes just to sit back and listen to really smart high school students very respectfully engage each other in very passionate conversation.
Students desire complexity, and I actually really believe that young people appreciate struggling in that gray mud of complexity rather than being told a definitive binary position.
And that's a model of what we want them to take from the Maimonides experience and to have them go forth to their campuses and say, yeah, let's go back to really interesting texts and let's have a really interesting conversation.
I think my Jewish ideas and Jewish identity has definitely been able to be questioned and developed a little bit more within these last 2 weeks.
I think the ideas that I've taken about Israel and politics and international relations are all going to come with me wherever I end up.